Hey there, everyone. Welcome to your current training right now in our Make and Take Block C. We're covering a topic that I hear all the time. It's about balancing a full-time, I put work, with your Stampin' Up business because work can be many different things. It can be a full-time job. It can be taking care of kids full-time. There's stay-at-home moms that have 3 and 4 and 5 kids at home and running kids everywhere. It can be someone who volunteers and takes care of their elderly parents. It can be someone who deals with parents with Alzheimer's, people I know who take care of their family members who are ill. But every single person out there deals with something that will pull them from their business. Everyone I know. I don't speak to anyone who says, I have so much time to give to my business. The hundreds and hundreds of people I speak to all have a full-time something that pulls them away from their business. It could be a job, and a job is all during the day. But many people have other things that pull them aside as well that they have to balance with their business. So all of us have something full-time that we have to balance, and we have to fight against. We have to work with. We have to make it work. And so every week on my Creating Success with Rhonda training group, the Business Builders, we do a Facebook Live. And almost every week I ask for questions, so all of our clients can ask questions and I'll answer them. And I think pretty much every week someone pops on and says, Rhonda, how can I balance this with a full-time job? I'm going crazy. I want to work, but I can't. So it's a very common thing, which is why I chose to talk about this today during Creative Convention. It's something I deal with. It's something I know everyone deals with. I see my assistants and my workers and my downline who have full-time jobs, and still make it work. Let me tell you right now, and I can tell you this with complete honesty. I know people who earn the incentive trip, who are in the top 100, that have full-time jobs and work full-time. I know ones that do this on the side, ones that do this full-time, ones that are 80 years old, ones that are 25 years old, ones that are married, ones that are not, ones who have kids, ones who don't. But anyone can do this. It's all about what's inside of you and how you handle what's around you. So I'm going to give you the best suggestions I can to help you. I am coming from a place wholeheartedly that I deal with all of these things on a daily issue. My training business is a full-time job. It is a full-time job. It takes, I have one-on-one training clients. I have training. I have lots of full-time expectations with that. And as well, I have a family of 4 children. And I have a husband. I have a mother and father that I'm very close with and want to spend as much time as possible. I have sisters and brothers and friends and family and obligations with my church, with my school, and many, many, many other things. So I am living this and breathing it right along with you. So what I'm going to teach you is from experience, but also from working with other people. This is my 19th year with Stampin' Up. And so I believe I've mastered a little bit about balancing life and a full-time job with my Stampin' Up business. I've never done my Stampin' Up business full-time. It's always been a part-time job that I've ran along with something else full-time. Either I've had a job, or I've had 4 young kids at home, or in the last 10 years, it's been my training business that I've had to balance it with. That is a good 25 to 35 hour a week job that I run. So we are all there together. Your situation is not unique. And I don't say that to hurt your feelings, but you're not any different than everybody else. You might have a full-time job, but somebody else might take care of 4 kids and running them from here to there, and a family and dinner and laundry and a home and so many other things. And so we are all have something that pulls at us. You are not alone. We are going to do this together. So I'm going to give you some tips, practical tips for you to move forward. The first thing is to talk to your support system, or if you have to, create a support system. And you know what? It might not even be your spouse or your partner. It took a lot of years for my husband to jump on board. And so my support system at the beginning was actually not him. It is now, very much now him, but it wasn't in the beginning until I proved myself. So how do you need to talk to your support system and create a support system to help you? So number one, you need to talk to others. You need others to do this. You cannot do this alone. If you're balancing this along with a full-time job or a full-time commitment, you have to have help in your daily life to help you with laundry and grocery shopping and picking up the kids and dropping them off and practices and cleaning the house. Lots of things you need help with so that you can focus on what really matters. You're going to delegate what you can and focus and work on what you have to do. You cannot do this alone. You need to share your goals and your dreams. Share them. What are they? And then and let the people around you. So this is something that you should do with your spouse. Let him or her know, what are your goals? What are your dreams? And why is this so important to you? I know no matter what, how skeptical my husband was about this when I started. He knew how important it was to me. And so because of that, he was going to give me grace and at least let me try this. And even though he might not have been supportive, I fought forward because it was important to me. And what was important to me might help him be important to him. They also will not be on board just because it's fun. Okay, so you need to share your paycheck. So you need to share your money. What we do as demonstrators, just most of us, is we do events, we make money, we spend it on more stamps. We do events, we make money, we spend it on paper, and we spend it on stuff. We spend it on coffee or whatever. Nothing we make ever hits our bank account, which is why I always teach instant income, volume rebate, bonuses, and getting paid through your commission, because that is where it actually will hit your bank account. But your spouse or your partner needs to actually see money. So when you do an event, come home and say, hey, do you want $25 for your wallet this week? Do you need some money? I have $100 I made tonight. I'll give you $50. I will keep $50. Literally today before this call, I was driving in the car with my husband. Have not seen him in about 2 weeks because we're going opposite directions. We went to dinner together. But I had an event, a very big event this weekend. And I said, I said, here's half of what I made. You take it into your wallet, because his wallet was completely empty. And I kept the other half. You take 100, I'll keep 100. So every time I do an event, they get paid. If they never see any money and you're gone all the time and you're working all the time, can you imagine what that would be like? I don't blame your partner for questioning what you're doing. So make sure you share your dreams, you share your goals, you communicate, and you share the money with them. Let them see that you're actually making money. So give him half, or give her half, or give your partner half, and then you keep the other half to invest back into stamps. But if they're never seeing any profit or any money, then of course I can see why they would be a little skeptical about what you're doing. Next is to set a schedule with them. Don't tell them what you're doing. Set it with them so they're on board with you. You're going to be working. You have a full-time commitment. You're working, already 35 hours a week or 40 hours a week. When are you going to be able to work your business where you'll have their support? You'll have their respect and their okay. Even, I can tell you, even if someone totally disagrees with what you're doing, when you go and ask for their respect and their permission, they will say, well, if you have to work, let's talk about the hours. How about here and here? they will give you some time that you can actually work. And lastly, sometimes your support system might not be within your family. It might be someone else. It might be finding a babysitter to help you with your kids. It might be finding a friend that can help you at home. It might be hiring a housekeeper. It might be hiring someone to help you at home with laundry and keeping up with a house. And I can tell you right now that my children personally have, their brothers and sisters, but they also have an Amber and a Ryan. And those two have been taking care of my children for the last 15 years. And they are part of their life. They have grandparents, pseudo grandparents, and pseudo aunts and uncles and cousins because I've had to let go and allow my children to have a babysitter. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that it's a reputable babysitter and someone that you love and can trust. But sometimes, even when my husband traveled and he was gone, it didn't stop me from chasing my dreams. It just made me have to hire a babysitter to come to the house for a couple hours. It makes me have to right now. Even this week, I've had 3 people I've had to hire to help me pick up the kids at practices, bring them home, get them dinner, get them their homework done. But you will have to reach outside of just your family sometimes. Don't allow maybe a picking up, or so maybe you don't want to hire somebody. Maybe this is not just, you're searching outside your family. So maybe you have to hire somebody, maybe you don't. So you might find a friend that can help you with carpooling. You might find a neighbor who can help you with things. So you need to search and ask for help. If you ask for help, people will be there to help you. All right, so that is your support system. You can't do it alone. You have to have help. You have to have respect and support, and you have to be respectful for people to give you respect. Next is time management. Oh my goodness, I could talk on this for hours, but I'm going to share with you a time management schedule, an hourly one, and then obviously you have to have a monthly planner as well. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So your 24 hours, even though you work full time, I actually know a lot of demonstrators who are actually way more successful because they have a full-time job, because they're disciplined and they don't mess around. They don't waste time. Some people who many people I know who actually go back to work because they're more disciplined. So you all have the same 24 hours. It's all what you do with it that makes the difference. The first thing you have to do is set a specific schedule as to what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. So I'm going to share with you that hourly time schedule you can fill in. Every hour is accountable. Every single hour. There is not an hour in the day that's wasted. Actually, sometimes I might have an hour in a day that's wasted, but it's scheduled. It will say from 2 hours, Rhonda, you could have lunch and call your mom on the phone. That's waste. You can do things that are wasted. But every other day is accountable. You're working 8 hours a day. You still have, 16 hours. 8 hours is for sleep. So what about those other 8 hours? What are you going to do with those other 8 hours? It's all there for you, but you have to be specific about what you're going to do during that time frame. Every hour matters. Not one goes unaccountable for. Now, you might not be quite as crazy as my time schedule, so you might have a few more hours to play with. But if you don't, or if you're that tight of a schedule, every hour matters. The next thing is to cut the things that waste your time. Think about things that don't produce results. I could go on and on about some of those things. So it might be on the computer, wasting hours, looking at blogs, looking at YouTube videos that you're not actually replicating. Instead, you could be planning your own classes. You could be watching TV where you're wasting time. You can watch TV, but multitask. During that time frame, you could be, sending out cards to people, creating customer packets. You could be doing a lot of things, so you can multitask. So I'm not saying you can never watch TV, a lot of very successful people I know watch a lot of TV, but they multitask while they're in their craft rooms working. They're watching TV at the same time, or at least listening. There's lots of things you could do that waste your time. So you just need to identify what those things are that are not income revenue generating, and you need to cut them out so you make time for the things that will actually grow your business or grow your life or fill your soul. I'd rather you spend a half an hour in a quiet room meditating, praying, or talking to a loved one than wasting that time watching videos that you're never going to use. Next, lastly, is time management. Is what do you do with your time? Whatever time you give, whatever time you allocate, make sure that you're 100% with that family or 100% with business. Don't try to balance the two. And don't feel guilty. When you're with your family, embrace it and love it and stay with your family. Guilt is a worthless emotion. So you feel like I should be doing this with my business, but you're not. You're with your family. Enjoy it, love it, embrace it. When you're with your business, enjoy it, embrace it, give it your gusto. Don't feel bad about missing out on a family event or a soccer game or something. That guilt, the negative feeling is worthless. It's not going to change anything. So be present where you are and give it 100% wherever you choose to be. The power for working a full-time commitment plus doing Stampin' Up, you need to have the ability to say yes and no. It's hard. I know it's hard. We're yes people. We want to make everybody happy. But you can't if you want to be able to build a business and be able to keep your sanity and be a good member of your family. So you have to have the ability to say yes and no, which opens the door for others. So I've learned that when I might say no to something, maybe it might be no to being the leader at our women's group at church, or no to volunteering every day at my son's school during a field trip, or the things I say no to, it means it allows a space for other people who are going to be able to say yes. You don't always have to be the one to lead or do everything. Just because it's good does not mean that it's what's best for you and your goals. Now, there's some things I might say no to right now because I have very lofty goals and I want to shoot for them. It doesn't mean I'm saying no forever. It doesn't mean if I have a family outing and I can't go because I have a stamp camp that day. It doesn't mean to my family, no, I'm never going to come again. That's not what it means. It means, no, today I have to do the stamp camp because I'm building my business. I'm trying to earn this incentive trip. I'm trying to build my business. I need to keep my reputation. I need to build my consistency. But I'll be there next time. So realize that you're going to have to say no to some good things, but that's because you're saying yes to your dependability, your consistency, and you're building something that is important for your family. When working, make sure you're busying yourself with income-driven activities. So you need to be if you're busy at work. Sometimes I'll give you an example. I had a training client I worked with just recently, and we spent some time on her business plan, and she was working 40 to 50 hours a week. Every week. She was so busy. But her sales were, the whole year were maybe less than 20,000 sales, which is good for some people. But keep in mind, she was working 40 to 50 hours a week. And I was like, what in the world are you doing? Like, some people are selling quadruple that, and many people are, but we're working half as much. So what are you doing that's busying you so much? And so we talked about this because I literally want to help her. And she spends hours and hours and hours on her designing for her classes. Okay, you don't get paid for that. If it's fun, good. Like designing, fun, it's good. But don't spend 2 days to design for a class. That is outrageously wasted time. You can be copying, you can become inspired by others, look on Pinterest, copy other classes, and design some of your own. And I don't want to steal your joy. If your joy is to sit for 2 hours and design a class and you're happy and you're smiling and everything is good, then you go right ahead. But most of you are stressed out trying to prepare for your events. So that's just one example of when we are busying ourselves with that are not income driven activities. It might be, oh, I'm going to watch all these YouTube videos to learn how to make stuff. But then you don't actually do it at a class. Just making things but not offering at a class is not income driven. Working with your team, customers, marketing, those are all income driven. But we have to make sure that at the end of the day, you ask yourself, if I worked all day, what did you work that actually drove sales and income? That will take a little bit of really deep searching on your part. Lastly, sometimes there are two good things. Choose what is great. That's so hard. We sometimes feel so guilty because we have two things that we're doing and they're both good. And when you have a goal and a dream, sometimes you have to choose what's great. And don't get me wrong, my family is my number one priority and always is and always will be. Actually, serving God and his priorities are my first and foremost priority, and then my family, and then obviously all of you. So there's within those things, within God and family and you, there's lots of good things that come to head and they butt heads sometimes. And so I have to realize that I can't be at everything, and I'll give everything that I have to all, and you will give everything you have, the best of your ability. And sometimes you're going to have two good things that you have to choose from. So to stay consistent, be dependable, and know that sometimes you're going to have to choose between good things, and you just choose what is great. A few tips from others that have gone through and walked through your shoes that I have to share with you. Number one is get up early. I have worked with several training clients that work full-time, and they have very demanding jobs, and they choose to run their Stampin' Up business a couple hours in the morning before everyone gets up. You can look up Zig Ziglar or other very successful entrepreneurs and business people, and when their number one tips are, get up early before everybody else gets up. The early bird gets the worm. You could work 2 hours in the morning with your marketing, your emails, prepping for classes, whatever you have to do, and no one's bugging you then. The world hasn't fallen apart then. As you work through the day, things happen, you get distracted, but first thing in the morning, you can be very focused. So get up early, which means you'll probably go to bed early, but you will be able to get up early and function before everybody else wakes up. That's a secret for people who work full-time. Next, get helpers. This is my sanity. I do work full-time jobs outside of my Stampin' Up business, and either if it's being a mom and a wife, also running my training business, a full-time business that it is. And so in order to make the Stampin' Up business happen, I have to have helpers. They help me with prep work beforehand. They help me at my classes, setting up, tearing down, and cleaning. They help me mass produce if I have pillow gifts for customers, if I at retreats, and also swap cards. So anything that has to be mass produced, I get help for that. And they also help me with cleanup and set up at events and even just in my craft room in general. So all of these helpers are typically paid with just free product or class fees. Most of them I don't pay anything at all. They just get to attend my class for free or retreat for free. But these are crafters and stampers who just love to be around you, but also be able to get all of their stuff for free. So helpers is a secret. If you're not willing to humble yourself enough to get help, you may not be able to ever juggle the two. So you need helpers that can help you do some of those mundane things that can take home and do it and bring it back to you when they're done. Enlist family and friends and kids to help with aspects of your business. So if you're doing this full time and you're helping support your family, then your family can always chip in. It might be helping with carrying boxes or prep work or running the big shot or punches. But I can tell you solely and honestly that I have 4 children and 2 daughter-in-laws and a husband, and every single one of them work in some aspect of my business. It might be with emails or PayPal or prep work or anything. They're all involved because they all benefit from the income that's generated and trips and so forth. So they all help along the way and always have since they're very, very young. So if you enlist these family and friends to help you, they will take you more seriously. They'll see how hard you work. They'll see what you're working for, and it'll make them believe in your business even more and help you even more. Delegate to your team members if you have them. If not, hopefully you will have them someday. It saves time and it builds future leaders. So delegate for your meeting preparations, delegate for speaking spots, volunteer at meetings, help you run events, but your team can help so much. And not only are you delegating to save yourself some time, but you're also building future leaders as well. Next, your first thing you're going to do to try to save time is to stay up late. That is actually the worst thing you can do. A day or two, I understand that happens, but getting your sleep is imperative for your health, for your brain to function properly. Staying up late does not always mean quality of work. Go to sleep with your spouse, your partner, get a good night's sleep, then get up earlier. Find a way to get it done the next day. Getting a helper, getting up early, enlisting family and friends. All these things you can do so that you're able to sleep at a normal hour. The next thing I do that helps when I'm balancing a full-time job with this is I partner with other demonstrators. If they're designing a class and I design a class, we can share those classes and offer them to our own customers. I partner with training our teams. I partner with almost every aspect of my business with other demonstrators. At my retreats, I partner with a demonstrator. Every event. This helps me on my workload. It helps me be able to, have the same outcome, but I work half as much. I design half as much. They pack all their own projects, so I pack half as much. And they take the sales for their customers, and I take the sales for my customers. But partnering for both of us is a win-win situation. So this really helps with working full-time, is to share with other demonstrators who can help you with training, events, design work, classes, retreats, and so forth. And lastly is to pray often. God can help you in supernatural ways, and I believe in that 100%. I sometimes will sit back so humbled, like, how in the world did this all just take place? And I know that's because I pray about it all the time. I pray that God gives me the ability to get done what needs to get done to serve others and do it in a way that glorifies Him, and that my sanity is still intact so that you can be what you need to be for your job and for your family. All right, I hope you're left here a little inspired with some practical tips of what you can do, but know that it can be done. You need very disciplined time management and self-control with your time, talking to support people, finding help. Finding help not only releases your sanity, but it touches the lives of others, empowers them. When there is a will, there is a way. When you are focused, you can make it happen. Even a full-time job does not have to derail you. I know many people who work full-time and still are very successful. So it all depends on your behavior and what you can make work within what you're already doing. Good luck. I am in awe of you ever being able to balance the two. It's not easy, but I know that you can do it.